I'm streaming here on the website or later for the replay. Welcome to this week's directory webinar. Don't have any presentation for you guys today. I'm going to give you and myself a week off. I'm just going to kind of freewheel it today on any topics that anybody has. I do. I was talking to Frank beforehand, and we're talking about a tag cloud and how to do that on the directory. And I think that a tag cloud is a misnomer because it's not like a big fluffy cloud with different sized fonts on the most popular words. It's actually just basically a button link farm for whatever particular purpose that you want. So, so anyway, I told him we were going to go over that. He wanted to try something on his site. So with Frank's permission, we're going to do that live on the stream today and add a tag cloud to his page and show everybody how to do that. Does anybody know that, or have used one before, or know what I'm talking about, or definitely want to see that, or?
Well, since it's on your to-do list for me with my site build, I guess I better watch, huh?
You can, unless you want me to do everything. So we'll do that today, a little bit later. But does anybody have, again, welcome to everybody as they're jumping on. If you guys want to come up comm or video, please do that. Otherwise, we won't see you on the screen or hear or see you. And then, again, just feel free to cut anybody off at any time to throw in your question or whatever, and we can help you guys out or answer a question or comment on that from the peanut gallery as we're watching today. So
you're going to promise to take a breath every now and then?
No, I don't breathe. It's actually, I think I told Frank this before, and I apologize I do tend to talk fast, and I'll try to slow it down mentally. I have to do it. I was on the debate team when I was in college. And so we only had a limited number of minutes to talk. And the faster we talked, the more we got out, the more points and counterpoints we got. And unfortunately for you guys listening, I apologize. I'll try to slow down. I have a tendency to talk and enunciate fast, so I apologize in advance. I guess historically for all my previous webinars as well.
It's not a matter of slowing down or speeding up. It's a matter of taking a pause.
No, it's a technique. I breathe in through my nose while I'm speaking out my mouth. I don't need to breathe. There's
nothing here to be able to wave, like you're waving to let me in, and nobody really checks the chat, so we're sort of. And it makes people look rude when they try to get a word in, like they're interrupting you.
That's why I tell everybody I give permission to interrupt at any time.
Pardon me?
That's why I give everybody permission to interrupt at any time. I'm joking.
But a lot of people aren't comfortable doing that.
I realize that.
Well-bred and well-mannered individuals who are more than 22 years old.
And especially if you're from New Jersey.
Who actually have some social skills. And
my apologies for eating in front of you guys today.
That's all right. I was going to talk about your social skills.
and throughout the required, did you bring enough for everyone?
I have enough if you can get to Illinois. It's brisket chili. Brisket chili I made yesterday with the leftover brisket from the weekend.
Nice. All right, guys, I'm going mobile. I'll be on the road in 3 hours. See you, Scott.
Knock, knock, knock.
Just kidding. All right. So, any initial questions from anybody?
Yeah, I have one.
Sure.
Maybe it's just my pet peeve. So apparently, what morning was it I woke up? I woke up very early one morning and saw a post about one of the servers being down. Now, what was nice about it, which was different, was it looked like BD posted first, which is unusual. Okay.
Right.
Usually there's 10 complaints and then they'll post, but they did post first. But do people really expect that nothing ever goes wrong in the world, that your site is going to be up 100% of the time for your entire life? Is that a realistic expectation? And is it wrong that I get peeved when I see people dumping on somebody like BD for, a car can hit a telephone pole and your site is going to go down.
Right.
I mean, is that BD's fault, really?
or the customizer developer, right? Because I don't control BD servers either. But the realistic thing on that is obviously communication, but is better than no communication. And we talked about that before. When silence is never good for a managed server kind of thing, because it looks like if you're not commenting, that it doesn't look like that half of your sites are down.
When my server goes down, I can send an alarm. I know in 3 seconds that my server is down.
Well, it's the same thing with my house. Everything's online, or I get a warning on my phone that the cameras or something's offline at my house, 1,000 miles away because the internet went down.
But here's what really gets me: when you go look at the sites of the people that are complaining, they got 17 members. Okay, it's like they're doing nothing, and they act like they're losing $1,000 an hour. Because BD is offline for 20 minutes or an hour.
It's just
so just as a help for BD, obviously I know. So they posted that. They also I don't know if it was because I asked them to I guess post more information, but they also have they had a banner on the back end for if you logged in on the top, basically saying what the situation was.
Right.
And so if you're in the back, you could. Even if your site wasn't up, if you could get to the Manage My Directory, at least you knew something. They knew, or you knew that they knew something was up, that they're working.
That's good. Deborah, what did you say? I'm sorry.
I said it's the times we live in. It's instant gratification. Everything gets so fast. People just expect it with everything.
And that's the two words: instant gratification. The world, well, America anyway, lives with this. It's like
up here in Canada, our power went out on the weekend.
Let me ask another question related to this. So I get emails from companies saying to me, if your site takes longer than 1.3 seconds to load, you've lost your customer.
It's actually 2.1, but,
Really? Do I offer anything where my customers are that desperate where if it takes 4 or 5 seconds to load my page, they're already clicking away and going elsewhere? Not if they want what I have. They're going to wait.
Right.
My favorite is it took 2 minutes to load those images. Remember the images you put on, Ryan?
Right.
I tested it on my phone, tablet, 2 computers. Yeah, it might have been 5 seconds, but 2 minutes, I think that's more of a them problem.
Right.
Absolutely.
I have a 3G phone. It didn't load very fast on my 3G phone.
My attitude is if you're going to leave my site after 1.3 seconds, I don't want anything to do with you anyway. Because you're never going to be happy with anything I do.
Right. I think it's more the other way around where if it is, not every site's lightning fast. I think it's the other way around. Like if it is lightning fast, like there's a lot of graphics and it loads like instantaneous, I may think, well, that loaded fast, but I'm more likely to do that than to say, well, that was just way too long to load.
Yeah, but did you really care that it loaded fast?
No, I'm just saying I'm more likely to notice that it was extremely fast than a little slow is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I expect when I go to a website that it's not going to be instantaneous. I don't have that expectation. And I'm perfectly content. And like, what am I doing? I'm sitting at my desk. I click on a link. I'll wait. I'm not going anywhere.
I think the important thing for all the directory owners watching this today, though, is that try not to focus on things that don't matter. It's like Frank was saying, it's probably not your extra second of page load speed that wasn't getting you the sale or wasn't getting you extra clients to your website. So there's probably other things that you can either focus on and or pay money for somebody to improve other than the page load speed.
And the BD platform is not known for being the fastest loading pages on the planet, okay? But again, if you're going to a directory site to look for something, you're there because you're looking for something. You're not going to be, 1.3 seconds, goodbye, I'm out of here.
Well, and I don't say it's inherently slower by a little bit by how it's designed, just because, like you're saying, it's not pulling static content. It's pulling from a database. It's pulling your search query.
Absolutely.
And so it would be a little bit slower.
But this is another way for people to sell you something that they convince you is going to make your life so much better because you can cut 1.5 seconds off of your page load time. And then they go, and Google punishes you to no end. They come around your house and they beat you with a baseball bat. Seriously.
Anytime you can blame somebody else, it helps you not have to look at yourself.
Yeah. I don't get it. I'm just too old, I guess. I don't understand anything that goes on anymore. Anything.
And so, but obviously, if that does bother you, there are ways to improve it. Like Deborah said, we had some images on there that weren't optimized or compressed before we uploaded them, and you can reduce most of those images probably by about 60 to 70% if you compress them.
I use tiny ping on every image that I put up. I save usually between 73 and 83% on image size. tinyping.com.
Yeah, we were going full screen though. That was our issue.
Well, that makes a difference. But even then, you can still get a full screen image down to 23 kilobytes. I've done it.
Yeah, so let's just talk about that real quick. That'll be our first subject, I guess. You said tiny PNG, right?
Yeah.
So, and so a lot of people like to use software to do it. There's so many online stuff that does what software used to do that I don't. There's no need to do those other softwares because it's almost more efficient just to use these websites. So this is what he uses. You literally just drag and drop your file in there, and it compresses it. So,
and the beauty of this one is you can drag 20 images at one time. It will then reduce them, put them in a zip file, and you download the zip file.
Yep, exactly. And so that's one I'm gonna do.
And they've got panda bears too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that
look,
guy's.
I've tried a dozen of these, and I stuck with this one.
He's compressed a little bit. He's a little fuzzy. He's compressed, but I'm joking. So tiny.
No, the bottom. This is after they compressed them down on the right there. That was the original. Then they compressed them. He lost 50 pounds.
Oh, there you go. He is a little more wrinkly there. So that's tiny PNG. There's also the sister site, Tiny JPEG. So and it looks like this one you can drag either or, like PNG or JPEG. It's just a different site, so you can get to them.
Right, let me
go
ahead.
No, good.
Let me tell you the best one, but it's a lot more complicated to work with. It's called Kraken, KRAKEN.io.
There it is. That was my next click, Frank.
This is a great one, but it's not. Well, you can make it as easy as the others, but it gives you a lot more options to do different things you may want to do. And they also have a pro version that you can pay for. And really,
so that's one. So here, I'm just going to start throwing these out. So here's compressor.io for fast and easy image compression. This one does JPEG, PNG, GIF, or SVG, or web
that's good
as well. So this one's a little bit more flexible. You have Gift of Speed compressor. So this is giftofspeed.com, and they have a PNG and a JPEG version, so it's just Gift of Speed JPEG compressor. And the interesting one about this one is you can scale it to a particular width and a compression level as you're doing it. So you can kind of do a bunch of tricks all at the same time with the JPEG one. This is another one. It's called, I think, let's just not go that one.
That one's called malware.
Yeah. Go here and get your virus of the day. It's free today.
Right.
Let me see this one. Image Recycle. So this is this one does images and PDF compression.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's pretty cool if you're throwing up some ebooks or have some PDFs that you want to shrink down so you don't waste all your bandwidth on that. And then these are the ones I've used in the past and work great. CompressPNG.com and CompressJPEG.com. Oh, somebody's playing a video game. That sounds good. So this one, same thing. You drag and drop. You download the whole zip file. You can do JPEG, PNG, PDF, SVG, or GIF. So this one works great. That's the one I normally tell people to use. And last but not least, Easy GIF or GIF or whatever. This does the compression for that, but you can also make animated GIFs and do video to GIF and resize crop.
I love me my animated GIFs.
So, so all of those are what some options you can get. And I'm just going to throw that in the chat for everybody, so they can avail themselves of that.
But trust me, I've tried them all, and I found Tiny PNG to be the quickest, easiest, and most getting the most reduction. But
apparently, it does not allow me to do all of those chats. And hey, Ben, thank you for showing up. And you said you can't stay long. That's fine. You can jump on or jump back off at any time, or obviously watch the replay. I'll just throw this out there for everybody. directorytoolkit.com. It'll be up there, in directoryvideos.com. We'll have the replay, and I always add the replay to the Facebook group as well. And it is not letting me paste the laundry list in the chat room here. It's just posting it as an image. So I'll just shout this out there. I'll put this in the YouTube channel there, and the directory toolkit in the comments on the webinar video. Just go, if you guys want the laundry list of those compression things, it'll just be in the actual post on directorytoolkit.com. So, but that was a good topic. There's no reason not to do that. Some people asked the question on whether that was compressed or maximized inside of BD. I don't know what they do for their upload process. I'm assuming it's compressing or doing something. I know it unless you put an image that's a lot larger than you're putting in there, when it shrinks it. If it's the exact same size that it's replicating on the site, it does look a little fuzzy. So there's some compression going on there. I don't know the process, and I don't think they ever responded back to that comment. So there's something going on. Just as a normal use for your directory, obviously the bigger the image, the more bandwidth it's going to take, the more storage it's going to take. But I'd always set your images a little bit larger than it's going to display on the site, because then when you upload that larger image, when it shrinks it down, it's going to be a little bit sharper. People will notice this for the image on the top of their actual directory. If you just put the smallest one that's going to fit in the spot there, sometimes it does look a little fuzzy when you upload it or add it on there. So I always recommend making the image a little bit bigger than the one that shrinks it down to, and it's a little bit more clear. So, and then actually, Scott, this is kind of off subject, and I don't want to put you on the spot there, but do you want to talk about the Facebook, I guess, sizing and stuff like that? We don't need to necessarily go over what you did to your website, but just kind of talk to everybody about why it's important or what it does, or just the sizing for that. So if they're adding images onto their photos or their event posts or whatever, what size or how they should do that, or why it's important.
Sure. Impromptu Facebook training. Here we go. So just for background, one of the things that I did before I decided to rebuild my directory that's a decade old was I teach people how to use social media, because I've been using it for I was one of the first, I think, 5,000 groups or pages to be formed on Facebook 15 years ago, and I've been fighting Mark Zuckerberg ever since, every change they make. So one of the biggest issues that I've always found is with the images that get carried with a link when either you post a link to Facebook or a user of your website posts a link to the Facebook, and it's called a link post. You want to give me a screen sharing ability here, Ryan, and I can go through it real quick.
Yeah. Let me see if I can do that.
And the key is the data behind it basically shows that with Facebook, a large rectangular image. So I got screen share now.
Yeah.
A large rectangular image will be clicked on people a lot more frequently than a small little square one. So I'll give you an example right now. Let me.
Should just say we'll hit the plus button up there, and it should be share screen if you have it.
Where we go? let's see here. Up on the, I've got pause, stop recording. Oh, here we go. Plus, share screen. Here we go. Wow. Is it working?
Yep.
All right. So there's this website, or the link that you can go to. It's called a Facebook sharing debugger. Here's the website right there, the list. And if you go to any Facebook page, I'll go to my consulting website real quick. Geez, Frank, who do I call to complain about this thing being so slow?
Yeah, really. Come on, I'm going. I'm out of here.
I'll add it in the chat there.
Oh, wait. I want to copy that logo with a screenshot. Hold on. I got it.
So, here's my website that I have, and here's the image that I've got. It's a 1200 by 628 image, 1.9 to 1 size, and it obviously pulls the whole thing. So, that's a good thing. You want people to see the full image. You want them to see the image or the description and everything down below. And you get a good image, and you get a good link to share with Facebook. So then if you look at another page, let's see. Ryan, can I pick on you and pick one of your pages?
Sure.
God, no. Okay, sure.
So this is a random test here.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Let's go to food and drink. So the way that most BD sites are set up, it appears anyway, is that logos and profile photos are square. They're 200 by 200 because that's the image that's set on the front end, and that's the image that you use. The problem with a square image is that Facebook doesn't really like square images with links. So I'm just going to copy this link location here, and let's see how Facebook likes that image and how it would share it if somebody shared it. So it takes that square and it chops it. So if you can see here, it's got the full thing here, but because it's a square and Facebook likes rectangular images, that chops off the top and the bottom and you lose part of it.
Wow. So
the key here is getting Facebook to read an image first that's rectangular instead of square. So here's the workaround that I did, and I'll just go around and actually, I don't want to use mine. What the heck?
But this has nothing to do with putting a picture on a Facebook post, does it? It's something different.
No, right? Because when you post a picture and you're just posting a photo, then you're just posting a photo, and you would put the image or the link in the text. The reality is when you post a photo and put the link in the text, only about 10% of people actually click on the link in the text versus 100% who will click on the image, right. Because the image isn't clickable. So here's what we did at this. So there's a couple of different tracks here. So here's one track called Tri-State Speedway, and you'll see what gets pulled here. This is one that I haven't messed with yet. Oh, wrong one. Copy. Oh. Why is it not saving that? Jesus. Copy.
There you go.
So that link hasn't been shared yet, so it's new for Facebook looking at it. So this is how Facebook is going to see that link. So first of all, it's going to grab it. It's not even going to look for an image at all because it's not like right there. So it literally just grabs the descriptor.
Wow.
If I click scrape again, it grabs the image awaiting from the track and that is that's a square image. It's a 250 by 250 image that I've got on there. Okay, so that's one. In my mind, that's ineffective for social media because when I share a link to Facebook and it looks like that, people are less inclined to look at it. And if it's on mobile, it's even smaller. So
I guess for mine, just real quick, I guess it was good that it actually was the bigger image, right? It was just shrunk down, which I always put the logo in the middle, so it usually doesn't matter. But so it was showing the bigger one. I guess the second one for mine, I guess that it's at least somebody had already shared it, right? Because it just showed up without having to do anything. So
yeah, so it did.
Do they have statistics on this? Because I just can't believe that the shape of an image matters if someone's going to click on it.
I do mine very differently, Frank. I do everything in Canva. So when I do a Facebook post, an Instagram, a Pinterest, a Twitter, and LinkedIn, they're all different sizes. So I'm able to resize everything. So when I'm on Instagram, I'm posting the same ad that I've sized for Instagram. When I'm on, I never let the preview link appear. I exit out and I put my own image on every post in the correct.
Yeah, I guess to answer your question, Frank, it's not as dynamic on all those systems as you think. They all have their 1080 by 1080 or 1200 by.
No, but that's not my question. Let's say you got let's say you got two images. They're the same image. And they're all displaying everything properly. Although one's rectangular, one's square. There's a psychological basis for which one somebody's going to click on.
People. So here's the thing, Frank, is when people are scrolling, because 60% of or 70% of the traffic on Facebook is mobile. When people are scrolling through their feed, if they come to a link like this, it looks like a link. Okay.
Right.
When they get to the one that I had previously that had the top and the bottom one.
Right.
See here, they're scrolling through. They see this. They think it's a picture first. So they can click on the picture, and they're more likely to click on the picture when it doesn't look like it's necessarily a link.
Well, I think my problem is I don't spend that much time on mobile. I'm a desktop guy,
Yeah. So that's the difference. And so anyway, let me just show you guys what I did to kind of overcome this issue. So there's another Tri-State Speedway that I built. And they're going to be a higher level member. And what you'll notice here is they do not have this awaiting image from track here. What I did is I rearranged and I told people to put their logo in the profile cover photo image. And I told them to put a track image in the profile logo spot. And then Ryan renamed them for me. So here's what happens with this now. So we'll grab this link, and you'll see what it looks like.
And then you can probably show them what the page actually looks like, renders too.
Yeah,
I really want to see.
And so that's what it looks like there. So people scroll down, they see the track, Tri-State Speedway, click to learn more about Tri-State Speedway, 3/8 mile oval. So let me see if I can log in here. And I'll get to that, and I'll show you exactly how I rearranged it.
And so while he's setting that up, I just throw it for everybody on the program. A lot of times in the BD system too, it's very flexible. A lot of times you don't have to pay customization to do stuff. You can kind of do what they call workarounds. They're very good at throwing them out there too. But a lot of times there's maybe not a simple solution, but there is a possible solution to solve the issue. It's always better to have stuff native how you want it, but a lot of things you can re-wicker, and so this is just an example of one of those.
And Scott, you said something that also confused me. You said both the profile photos and the logo images are 200 by 200.
So I have the image size that on Ryan's page. Are they 200 by 200 or 250 by 250, Ryan?
Mine are 200 by 200 set. I upload normally larger than that, like I said, because that's the minimum I think I have it set at. So 200 by 200, okay. That's the default. And you don't have to talk about this. I'll talk about this when you're done, Scott. There's image settings inside of your BD directory, and it normally defaults to the 200 by 200.
Yeah, well, then,
but you can change that, which obviously Scott did. It's 600.
Yeah.
You have 600 by. So
Right.
there you go.
So what I did is I took the 1200 by 628 that Facebook likes. They won't let you make this any more than I think 1040 is the max you can set this to. So I just decreased it by a multiple and cut it in half. So I made it 600 by 312.
right.
And then what I did was, this used to say profile logo, and I made it profile image because I don't want to track putting their logo in the spot. And here's why. And this is all about, and Deborah, you had mentioned, you do a lot in Canva and you make ads and you do all that stuff. So this specifically is important when you're doing link posts to your page. I'm a big believer in boosting posts as opposed to creating ads, because you get the native audience as well as the paid audience, as opposed to when you do an ad. So my number one goal is making sure that my link posts appear as vibrant and friendly as possible for people. So I want an image like that as opposed to a logo. And here's why: because Facebook will not let me boost a post that has a large percentage of text in the image.
Right.
Or they'll let me boost it, but then they'll threaten me that they'll throttle it back and they won't show it to a lot of people. So the way I overcame it simply is I had Ryan change this. Instead of saying profile logo, it says profile image. And then down here I have track logo, and obviously then that goes up above the track. So I'm just kind of training them to, and this isn't live yet, obviously, but I'm training them to put their logo in one spot and an image in another, so that so that the pictures come up as the directories. I don't necessarily care that their logo is here because their name is here. So that's how I overcame that, because it's just not easy to rejiggle the coding and have the Open Graph coding call the profile logo or the profile image or whatever. So anyway, so that's what I did to make that work a little bit better, and and I think it'll be a good fix going forward, because the tracks will be indicated to upload a picture here and upload your logo here. So
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So you've done boosting and you've also done Facebook ads, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I'm paying my money, what business is it of them how much text is in my ad?
It matters to Facebook, and here's why. So all of Facebook's data that they have done, and this is the Mark Zuckerberg world that I hate. They've decided that anything with more than a certain percentage or ratio of text in it, that people are less likely to click on. And obviously in Facebook's world, they're a media channel. So they want people to stay on for as long as possible and not go away. Their statistics have told them that the more text in an image, the less engaging people feel about it. So whether it's a paid ad or not, you will get a warning if you have too much text. Now, here's a good thing. There is an image checker that you can use, and you can upload any image to this engine, and it will tell you whether or not.
Now you can share your screen again. I thought you were hunting and trying to figure out where to turn that off, so I just switched to.
I just did a full infographic ad with Facebook, and I didn't get a warning at all. There wasn't an image at all.
No, you're good, Scott. I'm sharing it again. So.
Oh, okay. Deborah, it is absolutely indiscriminate in how they warn you or not, because it's all algorithm based, and a lot of times when they say images with text in them, there is a disclaimer or something in their terms of service that say if it's a brochure or if some sort of a like an event flyer or whatever, that sometimes they look at that and they say, okay, we don't throttle those back because it's clear what it is.
Okay,
but if it's
infographics, that would make sense then.
Yeah. So if it looks like a flyer or if it looks like a calendar, because I worked at a concert venue, and we would put up our ad mats that we get from the acts, and some of them would make it through okay, but others that were really kind of artistic with glitzy text in some places, and really cartoonish stuff, but then flat text in other areas, those would get flagged because Facebook wouldn't see it. Now, here's the interesting thing, and again, this is a text overlay button. You can literally upload any picture here, and then I'll grab that link and I'll put it in the text. But let me look at some of the images here. Where should I go here? Desktop. Oh, I'm on the wrong computer. This is why this isn't working. I'm on my laptop. Downloads. Let's see here. So here's an image that I just picked out of the random. You're unable to review your image. Well, for some reason it's not working. But anyway, so this particular link here, you can put images up here, and it will.
Could you put that in chat, please?
Yep, I'm going to copy it right now.
I already got it in there. So.
Oh, do you? And literally, Facebook will tell you, as you can see right there, image text okay, image text low, medium, or high. Now.
Well, wait. It's telling you what you can do or what it's seeing.
This is when it does read the image, the image will then have a rating assigned to it in the image in the picture here. Let me just see here. Let me find one and I can show you exactly. Upload. Where's all my?
It's nice they have these tools. I'll tell you that.
Let's see here.
This is great training from Scott. I apologize. I didn't mean for you to go into that much detail. I appreciate the training on there. I was kind of impromptu today, so
no worries.
I apologize and appreciate it all at the same time. So.
Well, it's just funny how it's so different because LinkedIn's the opposite. They don't like you putting links in your text. So we've been putting our text in our photos.
Really?
Yeah, they're the opposite. If you will. I guess you get less visibility if you put a link, especially. So we no longer put our link to our website in our text.
You know what? I noticed that with LinkedIn a week ago when I posted a link to my website, and it didn't pull the image. It used to pull the image. It used to pull the logo at least.
Yeah, they don't like links. I read it the other day, and I thought, okay, I'm taking the links all out, and I just put it in my image. Just grab the image.
Wow.
So for some reason, it looks like Facebook is just not liking uploading images right now. But anyway, so when you see these warnings come across your images, here's what to know about that. If you're saying you want to spend $50 on an ad and it's a targeted audience and Facebook has an overabundance of people who want to target that same audience, if your image falls in one of these categories here, it will likely not run, because they've got enough money to cover enough ad requests to cover the inventory with higher quality, what they determine are higher quality images, and get all the money that they can selling all the impressions that they have. If there's not a lot of demand for the specific audience that you're looking after, your ads will run just fine. Imagine that, right?
How convenient.
So here's a question for you. I find that I'm getting way more engagement on Instagram. So I'm not going to Facebook. I'm doing all of it: Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. But if I change the image sizes on my site, how will that affect me now with Instagram, who prefers the square image?
Well, because Instagram doesn't pull link posts anyway. So in Instagram, you're literally posting a picture.
Right.
So when you're posting a photo to Facebook, it really doesn't matter what size it is. If it's way too tall, it'll crop it a little bit. But if you're just posting a photo, you're posting a photo. And obviously, like you said, Instagram likes square.
One of the things you have to watch out for, and I think Deborah knows this, and Frank alluded to it earlier. If you have any of those solutions that kind of cross post based off from things, unless it's a dynamic system that either allows you to upload a separate image type for a particular platform, or does something to it, oftentimes you'll see it where you post the square on Instagram, it then reposts it to your Facebook group or whatever. But because it's square, we're back into what Scott had originally talked about, where now it crops it down. it looks good on Instagram, but when it pulls into Twitter or Facebook, then it looks bad. So just be aware of that. You may have to either use a service that makes the multiple images, so you have a different version and do them individually, or if you're using one of those reposting systems that it either dynamically changes it or allows you to upload a separate image when it posts for each one. So
yeah, I use Lately Social because they let you post to all platforms, including LinkedIn, whereas Later doesn't. But I do have to make an individual image for each post type.
Yep.
So I'm trying to pull up a PowerPoint here to show you a specific example of one in the training that I do. But it is really interesting, and it's also important to know, to have an image assigned appropriately, because a lot of times. Like I said, it's in the OG coding. It's called, it's all down here. It's based on the raw tags we constructed the following open graph properties, to view to learn more about the API Explorer and things like that. But it's open graph coding is what you want with, these images and these titles and all that other stuff. So that's what Facebook reads, when it sees things and it makes priorities. So let me just show you, let's see here if I can find one of my trainings that I did. Bear with me just a quick second here. I'm just going to put this in view mode, and then I'll be able to show you even more specifically. I think I stopped it from opening.
All right. Well, hey Scott, while you do that, I'm going to stop your sharing. I'm going to stop your sharing real quick. I'm just going to show something off my screen, and then I'll give it back to you in a second. Right. So this is what Deborah was talking about, and I'll actually present on this in a couple of weeks as an offering as well. But this one's a good solution that kind of solves that problem that she mentioned. It's called RelayThat.com. But here's just an example of what this system does. It basically has branding solutions where you can do a particular image branding and stuff like that. And then with one click, based on you basically upload the image once, you put the text in there, and you can, whatever you make in this system, it can one click resize and dynamically do all of your different designs with just a click of a button. So that's
awesome.
There's no, I'm going to make this for Facebook. I'm going to drag this over there. Okay, great. New template for a side banner. Okay, let me paste that image back in there again. I got to add normally you do all of these individually. And so this one, you basically brand it. You say, I want that image. I want that text subtitle. Here's my icon. And you one click, it just spits out every single one of these as a file set that you can then use for whatever one you're using.
Do you not have to tweak them? Because even in Canva, you have to tweak it a little bit after that because it moves things around where you might not want it.
Yeah, Deborah, are you familiar with Trello?
Pardon?
You're familiar with Trello?
Trello?
Crello. It's like the Canva replacer.
You mean T as in Tom? Trello?
No, Crello.
Crello. Okay, yeah. No, I have not.
Yeah, and Frank, that's gonna be that week. I'm gonna talk Crello and this one.
Yeah, because Crello, I think you can pretty much do along the same lines as what Ryan was just talking about. It's like an upgraded Canva.
Okay, perfect.
But you can see
Canva a lot too.
Yeah. So anyway, you can see the I think they used to have different examples on there. I'll do a walkthrough here, but basically what it does, you can do different brands or whatever that you have. And so you can actually tweak stuff, and it kind of moves stuff into the white spot or in the area, and it just kind of dynamically moves that. But yeah, you can move stuff back around. Like if you wanted that, centered, you can move that over, but it kind of dynamically does that automatically for you.
That's cool.
And you really need to do it because we did some Twitter posts the other day using our Facebook photos, and it literally cut off the main part of I call them ads, but it's our image. We were saying looking for. So it
Right.
cut all the text off because Twitter shows it in a much longer horizontal image. So yeah, that kind of made us realize that, okay, we have to go edit all of our social media and start. I mean, it's a little bit more work. I think the first person I'll be hiring is a social media person. But it does make your images look so much better on each platform if you put them in the right sizes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we'll go over that one a little bit later. All right, Scott, I'll give it. You can go ahead and stand it back. I'll turn mine off.
Yeah, I found the. Are you guys seeing this now? The soccer picture?
No, I think you may have to share again. I took it off so I could share on mine. So.
All right. Share screen. Okay. All right. So this is an exact example of let's see, from current slide. So this is an image that U.S. Soccer shared last year. They shared it on Facebook. It was, American Outlaws Here for the Future. Sorry about that, guys. I think I ended that. So this is an image that they shared on Facebook.
This is loading there, Scott. I'm not sure.
Oh, can you? No, it's just the one thing there. Can you see this image?
No, it just says screen loading. I'm not sure why. Can everybody else see it or?
No.
Oh, that's weird. It's a PowerPoint. Oh, you know why? Maybe it's because it's not sharing the PowerPoint presentation part. Yeah, let's see here. Connection. Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It does that little presentation screen and then the other.
Oh, here we go. You know what? I had chosen it as. You know what? It's just not showing the presentation. Anyway,
okay.
But here we go. Sure,
you can just hold up on your screen, but
here we go. There we go. You see it now?
Yep.
All right. So slideshow from current slide. So this is an image that U.S. Soccer had shared on Facebook, and when they did on Facebook, they also clicked to have it shared to their Instagram account at the same time. Well,
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, they didn't crop it because this is where, and Deborah, like you had mentioned, Instagram likes squares. Well, this is what Instagram did with it. It's like, yeah, what are you thinking here?
That's exactly what happens between all the platforms if you don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's that key example too. And then the other thing that I'll just show you guys really quick, because this is kind of a funny thing. Funny like a clown. Let's see here. Let me find this one. Dr. Seuss. Anybody like Dr. Seuss? Farmers Insurance. Where is it?
Of course I do. Of living in a shoe. 1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish. Oh.
Here we go. This is a fun one. From current slide. All right. So you're seeing the presentation now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're seeing slide 10 or tip 10 there.
Yeah. So connecting PowerPoint. All righty, come on, baby.
That's why a lot of these auto posters don't really work, because they're misleading, because you can't just give one image and then say, yeah, press a button, and they
right.
post it to everything, because it's only going to look good on one of them.
That's right.
Now, are you guys seeing this page here? That farmers that I went to for farmers?
Nope.
All right. So yeah, this is where I don't go sharing back and forth. Anyway, so let me just go back to the presentation because it's.
Oh, we're on there.
So anyway, so the interesting thing is that this was a Dr. Farmer's example or a Dr. Seuss thing that farmers did, and it's like, hey, this is a great looking screenshot video, what have you, or even up here is really good. The issue was when people actually went to that image and it was shared, the people from Farmers Insurance don't know what the hell they're doing, and I will show you exactly.
I don't know if we're on the right screen. All I'm seeing is the back end there, simple tip number 10. That's what I'm seeing on the screen. So
yeah, I'm trying to get away from that right now, and
okay, I don't know.
I'm seeing the Dr. Seuss to the right.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let me go share screen again. Allow. All right, now you're looking at my screen. I got this. So, Farmers Insurance, this is an exact example of how sometimes people don't realize what their website is sharing. Now, last time I checked this with the debugger, it was really messed up. It's been a little bit, so maybe they might have fixed it by now.
Probably not.
Oh, they actually have a picture there now. It used to pull up just like half of the farmer's. It was the farmer's logo, but it literally just had the ARME in the middle of it. And it was like, what the hell? You know, somebody's managing a multi-billion-dollar website, and they didn't even know what the hell they were doing. Right. So that's what makes it important to be aware of, you know, what size image is being pulled from your link, and then, you know, use this debugger link to check every link you have that you're going to share. And again, this is related to link posts specifically, not to sharing images, because that's a different ballgame. But if you're going to be boosting a post, make sure it's got a rectangular image on it, or boosting a link post. Be sure it's got a rectangular image on it, because it makes all the difference in the world.
So here's a question: why isn't BD incorporating this if they know about this?
I actually initiated that conversation with BD a couple days ago.
Okay. It just seems like it makes more sense for them to advise all of us site owners, this is the size you should be using, and put the templates there, rather than
they do have the sizes in there. The real thing is they just need to change the default allowances, because then you could you know, change the size that you want in there. It's blocked out. So
yeah, I'm just going to give that back to Ryan. I'm going to give that back to you, Ryan. So okay. When we figured this out, Deborah, basically what we did, you know, I was asking Ryan, I'm like, how do I get this to do this? I posed the question in the larger group. Yakin Shah actually acknowledged that, yeah, you can just recode it in the back end, so it pulls the right image. Because I've gone back and forth with BD Ticket to ask them if I can prioritize the image photo first, and they said it would have to be a private development thing. So long story short, Jason actually acknowledged the post in the group and said, hey, this might be something we might have to put on our development screen. So hopefully within the next, you know, 3 weeks, we'll be able to get them to see it as a value, because it really is a big value to make sure the right size rectangular image is pulled. The interesting thing is, Ryan, I actually pulled a lot of it. Really has to do with the size image your client uploads too, because Ryan, there was a client that you have on your website. It was like Pizza Kitchen or something. It's a let's see here. Let me find it. It was I can't see it on your website right now, but it's like a red brick logo with just the name and diagonal across it. And I put that in, and it, because their logo is slightly rectangular, it did upload it as a large rectangular image, because it takes the root image on the drive. It doesn't take a 200 by 200 crop. It takes the root image. So if they uploaded a rectangular image, then it does it. But it's all out of proportion, and it's chopped off because it's too wide. Anyway.
Yeah, I do the opposite. I send mine a template so that they can put their image, because for the rectangular logos, it looks better, I find, in their profile if they plop it into a square image for us to upload to the system.
Yeah, because it literally it fits it in, rather than you know, the system forcing it into a square and moving it up or down or filling in the background or what have you. You're right.
All right, Ryan, when you move on to my project, go first to the design settings and the site standard images, because I think I may have either I don't want to say that I resized it wrong, because I think I worked from the dimensions that they've given, but my stuff does not match what Scott was talking about.
Well, no, because he changed his. So yours is probably default to whatever. Yours is set at 200 by 200. Yeah,
that's the default. I changed it.
Only one of the two is. I think the other is like 200 by 260 or something.
That's the profile photo. So that's in a 3:4 ratio layout, not a 1:1.
Where does that profile photo show up, Ryan?
So the question is, and I'm just going to share my screen. We'll move on to the Frank's thing. We'll do the tag cloud thing right now. So so Frank's asked, and this is where we're at before in the developer's image settings. These are the two that he changed. Is 200 by 200. you notice the profile photo, it gives you an option for a 1-to-1 or a 3-to-4. It automatically, for some reason, this is open for the logo because it kind of just doesn't know whether you want to do square, oblong, rectangular, whatever. It gives you an open option to change this one. This one's locked in at the 3-to-4 or 1-to-1, so you can do square or the 3-to-4. Because basically this profile photo, and if we go to anybody's thing, you can do this on yours. Just go to the
Screen not sharing.
Yeah, mine isn't either. Screen loading.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yep. Sorry.
Geez, it's slow. No.
No, I thought I clicked off from. I guess I clicked on the screen. I didn't hit share. So let me go back to that real quick again. So it's in the developers image settings. And so this is the logo stuff. It's set up at 200 by 200. This is just what I talked about. It's open. The profile photo is set at a 1-to-1 or 3-to-4 because this profile is, and I'm going to the general settings, and this is just where your default is. It's normally a visual here. You notice the default member photo normally is like a headshot, right? Well, this is just basically like your school photo, right, with your head shot, and they're always set up like that vertical, like that in the 3-to-4 aspect, as opposed to the logo, which is normally a 200 by 200 for the search results. So that's where that's at. It's normally a 3-to-4 vertical. And then Scott's question is, when does that show up? So if you guys go to your website and you hit the search, there's going to be 2 potential options that you see on the search results. So normally you're only going to see one because it's set up as a business directory or it's set up as a profile. So there's Frank's nice face there. You notice his is the profile, right? So that's the 3-to-4. All the other ones that are businesses are set up with the square. So the only time that shows up on the search results, and I'll show you where that's at, and I'm just going to log in as any random member here because it doesn't really matter, but I'll show you where the setting is at that does that. When they log in as a particular member, it's going to be that first drop down in the contact details that is going to set that display. So for contact details, there's going to be a pull down. Normally, I think this defaults to let me find one. That was a community account. I apologize. That's like the one that has it turned off. Here you go. So there's going to be an option in that first column, and that's the individual or the company selection. And so if you choose company, it's going to use that 200 by 200, that one setting. If you choose personal or individual, then that is the profile photo. And that box right there determines on which photo it shows. So that's the company photo. But now if I click personal or individual, now whatever I upload in the profile photo is one that's going to show on the front end as opposed to the profile logo.
So I see what I did wrong was I put bad text on there. That shouldn't say that.
Please upload your listing photo. Well, I mean that it's a photo, but it's a logo. I mean, I think it's still.
Yeah, but that's not the one on the right is the logo.
Right, but this just says please upload your listing photo. It doesn't say logo. No,
I'm saying, but oh yeah, photo because that's the one for the individual.
Right.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
So now going back to what we were doing, Scott, and what we set up for yours. Technically, we could probably, if you don't have any individuals on your site that you want on the front-facing side, we can almost make those selections. You can basically make that a pick of what what logo they want. Because if you want the logo, we can just do the logo here, and then you just pick instead of we just change that text to logo.
So we could literally just delete profile photo as one. They even have to add open they even have to add, right? We can just have it be profile image and profile logo.
Yeah, you can get rid of any of those 3. So that, I mean, the top one, that one, or this one, you can all turn them off. Yep.
Cool.
So that's an option. So anyway, that's where that comes from. Any other questions on that?
So Ryan, can you go back to the image settings in the dashboard? So what is that profile photo social media that is a rectangle?
Well, this is for the photo, not the logo. So there's a profile logo
Yeah.
logo social
What's
media.
the difference between like profile photo and then profile photo social media?
So what you can do is you can actually set this to be a max width for display, but you can make it bigger for display. It's kind of like what Scott was doing to trigger a better view, right? So so this is limiting.
Like does one override the other? Like if you change something, I guess I'm
well,
trying to follow what goes where.
I think this changes what it shows up as. This one, it just shows a bigger picture on social media. I mean, that's a great question. I don't know.
Brian, I think I figured that one out the other day. So if you go to the brand images page, that profile photo social media, or maybe I'm thinking about default social media image. Oh, I'm thinking default social media image. The default.
I'm just wondering what this does. It sounds like it fixes the problem you're all talking about, but yet none of us seem to know what it is. Like where?
No, so here's the question. Here's the problem, though. So he wants to do this logo social media. I'm gonna put. He wants 1200 by 600, right, or 628. It won't let you do that. It locks it down to what was it, 628, right? So you see how it maxes out. It won't let you put the higher numbers that he needs to trip what he was trying to do. So.
Again, I'm just trying to figure out. So when does the photo from profile logo social media, where is that picture going to go and what triggers it?
Size of the profile photos for social media sharing. Note the width and height must be set to 200 at a minimum.
So it's pulling that. It's basically got that bigger image in reserve. It's not showing that big of an image on your front page. It's just got that because it in the background. And so when you try to social share, it's going to pull that larger image.
So when you try to share it in your share, I've got the little sidebar there. So if I want to share it to Facebook, you're saying BD will send them this other size.
It's supposed to, but I think that's the problem, and that's what we're trying to address. It won't let you put the actual big image that you would need for Facebook and how they're set up to execute right now. It may have just been that they probably changed that or made it bigger over time, and when they initially coded this, it probably was 200 by 200 back in the day, or I don't know, not 1200 by 628.
But it still sounds like this size or this aspect ratio will work better than the square. Unless I'm totally not following this.
Well, what I did, Deborah, is under the profile logo and profile logo social media, the two below that, I made profile logo 200 by 104, and I did profile logo social media.
It was a one. I don't know what you did. It was a. Is everybody still there? It kind of went quiet. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if he dropped off, but yeah, he made this the ratio. It was like 600 by 328 or something like that, I think.
Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what triggers this. Like,
so 600 by 314, because that was that's the ratio of the rectangle, the 1200 to 628, I think is what it was. So 600 and 314. But that's just so it had the same rectangular square. It's still not pulling that big of high resolution image because it's only uploading that smaller amount. So ideally, you'd want to have that at the higher resolution.
Right. Okay.
If they could change it, I just don't know why it's that difficult for them to change the settings. I think one of the reasons they probably don't do it, and we've talked about this before, is that they probably don't want because everything's on a shared server. They're trying to keep the cost down. They don't want everybody uploading a lot of videos or photos that's going to increase the bandwidth because it's a meager amount for a larger site, and 20 gigabytes. But if you had all that stuff in there, just like I was telling you, or anybody here, if you have the full size images, and not only does it load slower, but it uses that bandwidth every time somebody loads your front page. It's loading those 3 huge photos for your site. You're eating through that bandwidth. You're eating through the storage on their server too. So it drags down the entire platform, right? When everybody uploads all those, and then they burn through their stuff faster, and now they're upset potentially because they're like, I'm burning through my resources with you guys in 5 days. Really, that's all you guys can provide, and then they got to up the ante for all 5,000, 10,000 directories that are run across, that multiplies out, and that's real cost for them too. So there's probably a reason for that, or maybe it is a technical issue that they can't fix, or it takes a little bit of a while. But I imagine that's probably part of the issue, is that it's just it's at a cost for them as well. So because you're just paying once and it's lifetime storage. So
Ryan.
Yep.
I just wanted to give you a heads up that I'm expecting a call from Matt sometime around 3. So
okay,
drop off. I didn't mean to be rude.
Okay, no worries.
All right.
So let me go ahead and get to our tag link discussion today.
Okay.
So I thought Brilliant Directories had a how-to on this one, and it seems that they do not. So we're going to kind of walk through how to actually execute a tag cloud. And I just want to I'm going to kind of show you one here on how it executes. Actually, I'm just going to use my site, because I did some for some other sites. I don't have permission to show that, so I won't do that on today's episode here. But I just want to show you an example one. This one's on the side for me. I'll show you where we're going to do it for Frank's site today, and it's going to be a little bit different. But this is what I mean by a tag cloud, where you basically just have buttons with keyword or search result entries that you basically add into a little matrix here, tag cloud, either there or at the top of the search results. And then they can one click go to those search results, and they just call it a tag cloud. It's probably not maybe what you're thinking about tag cloud, but it's customizable, and you can add that in there. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to do one live on Frank's item. So let's go. I'm going to do it on his back end here. Frank, you want to do, let's see, do you want to do just a category breakdown for one of your categories? Is that
right? But eventually, isn't there a way to just do them all in one fell swoop?
No, there's not. No, it's not. This is all manual. It's not dynamic either. So
you do the top level categories, all the sub levels fall into place.
No. So this is a manual process for each tag cloud you're doing.
Wow.
So and you guys can use it if you want. It's just an availability. Again, I would call this a workaround, basically, where you're able to do some stuff inside the system, just how it's built up, and it can do stuff like I showed you there. But it's not dynamic. It's not a feature of the website. It's just something you can do inside the capability with just a little bit of code. So does that clarify?
So is this like related searches idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is automatic. So if let me go to the related searches, that's kind of like a related article, right? There's also I don't think, Frank, you have it. Oh yeah, it is. Related searches, right? Well, this dynamically pulls that, but it's the same thing, only it's not. This is basically pulling parts of your listing. So this is a business in the signs and billboards category. It's a business in Vineland, and it's a business in New Jersey. So it's basically doing kind of a combination of signs and billboards in Vineland. So you can then one click and go to, and this is a search result, whereas New Jersey, Vineland, that signs and billboards, and there's only one of these in this database at least, but it breaks it down. And so it's similar to that, but what this is basically, you can have that's dynamic. This one you can have preset buttons for whatever you want. I had mine as filtered by food type, or you can do it for categories and subcategories. So the one I'm going to do today on Frank's site, I'm just going to pick. Let's do your food and drink, Frank. We'll do that one and do a demo from that on how to do that. So I'm going to make a tag cloud for that. What you want to do is you want to go to your set. And if you guys want to log into yours and do it as we go along, feel free to do that. And then you guys can all make one on the follow along class today. So just go to Toolbox, Member Manager, and then all you want to do is create a new menu. And so you can call it whatever you want. I recommend if you're going to do it, I would just call it something that you can find later. So I'm just going to call this food tag cloud. And that's going to be for that, let's say food category tag cloud. So I know it's not anything other than food, it's food categories. And then system name, you can name this whatever you want. It's got to be continuous, and you can't have any spaces in there. So I'm just going to call it food _ tag cloud. And you can name it whatever you want. And then this is the key on the CSS class, and this is what Brilliant Directories added for us. So it's kind of easy, one-click add for the menu format on this. Just type in tag cloud, and it should already be in everybody's directory if you got all the current updates. So this tag -cloud for the CSS class. It's optional, but that one does all the magic or most of the magic for us. So hit save and continue. It'll make that tag cloud, and there you go for that. So now you're going to want to go in and edit. Edit that, and then you're just gonna add different menu choices. So the way this is set up is it's set up in rows basically. So if you saw the example I gave here, this is a row, or you can add a title in there. I'm going to show you how to do that. You don't have to have a title. If you don't have that in there, it's just if you add button lines, it'll just add the buttons in there. So when you're adding this in the back end here, this first menu item is going to be the title. Whatever, if you do want a title, that's what it will be. So you don't have to name it, but we're going to go ahead and do that today. So I'm just going to call this search by subcategory, right? Because we're gonna do those categories, and what you want to do on that for that particular item, we want that to go the full width, right? So that because if you don't have a full width, it's going to move one of these up there potentially. You basically need a break in there. So what you want to do is in the outer list CSS class here, just put button block, and that should stretch it out so it goes the whole width. And then that's all you need to do for that one. So you can hit save changes. So now that's our search by subcategory label. Now all you just need to do is add a new link, and you guys can do this on your own. Just grab it from the actual items here. You're just gonna copy each one of these and add it in there. And so I'm just gonna do that real quick. Just bear with me while I do this on the demo here, and you can do this on yours later. And obviously, the longer it is, the longer it's going to take you.
Why is the adding URL an optional choice?
Because you can just have a button or a list. It doesn't have to have a link. Think of this is the same thing that you guys use for your pricing menu, right? So every one of those line items on your pricing menu doesn't have a link, right? It's just text. For this one, it is going to have a link, right? Because it's a tag cloud. You're in this case, you want everything to have a link. So I'm just going to right click on there and copy the link address, and you can add that in there. You don't need any of the website. Just do it with the trailing slash there, and then save that for all of those. So we'll do that to all 8 of these as well. And so the good thing about this, because we're basically going to make this menu, and we're going to make it into a widget. And so the cool thing about that is you're going to be able to put that wherever you want. Looks like I skipped one there. Would I get groceries?
Convenience.
Oh, it looks like I one way back here. Caterers food products. That's what I missed. So because we're going to put it in a widget, you can add it wherever you want. So it's kind of dynamic, I guess, in terms of whatever you guys use this for. You don't have to do subcategories. You can do any particular link set for your website. It could be any topic set or any, I guess, quick link examples where you want to have fast action links to certain key pages. Then you could just put it wherever you want because it's going to be in a widget. So there's that. We got all of the links now. The one other thing that you want to do is that you need to change the look of the particular the actual button, and so you're going to want to put it. Hold on a sec. You're going to want to put the button code here. So it's going to be, you want to put the button in the menu class button and then button dash. We're just going to use success. And so this is where you have the colors in here for your thing. So if you want primary, you can put primary. If you want the danger code or whatever, that's where you're going to put that. And I'm doing this off from memory, actually, because I'll double check if it doesn't look right. We'll figure out where it goes. But I think that's where. Was that?
That should work out well.
Yeah, it always works out. And that's what I said to do on the fly. So we kind of did this right beforehand. So anyway, so there you go. That's the menu item. So now this one's going to be, as you see, there's no button here. It's going to be kind of just text. That's going to be the full width. And then these are just going to stack in line. It's going to be the button class, and then it's going to be that color. And we'll go ahead and save that. So now that is in a menu, we're going to go ahead and copy that, and we're going to go ahead and make a widget. And the reason we want to put it in a widget is because now we have a menu, but we want to add the widget because now we can put stuff around that menu or code it a little bit more. So I'm just going to throw that tag cloud in there that you guys copied there. I'm going to call this the food widget. Or food tag cloud widget. And again, I always name these however you want, so you can find them later. Really? And I always add custom to mine if I'm doing custom. That way I can just type in the search word custom, and then anything I've edited for myself outside of BD automatically filters out all of those just by mine. So it's just kind of a tip I do. You can do whatever you want. Custom food tag cloud widget. And then If you do that, it's just going to put the thing, but I like to put it in like a little box, just so it's a little bit easier to see. And this is going to be really simple code for you guys to do. And I'll just say it off the screen. It's pretty simple to do. It's just div space class equals quotation module quotation, and then the caret, and then you just do the / div on the other side of that. So div class module, and then div. So now that basically just wraps it and puts it in. Basically, that's that module is that little box, the white box. So instead of just being that on the gray, it's now adding it to a little module box like that.
Nice.
And so that's it. Hit save changes. Now, after you guys make that widget code, you're just going to want to copy that widget short code. It's going to pop up here, and you just want to copy that short code. Now that you've made the widget, now we need to add the widget to the search results. So we're already here. Let's go to food drink. I want to go to this page where we want to add it. And what we're basically going to do is make a dynamic ad here at the top with our tag cloud for that directory result category only. So what you want to do is on your page, you want to go here and click that create static page. What it's going to do is going to open up, and we've gone over this in previous webinars. It's going to go to this page where you add the static page. And so what we're going to go over here is several steps, but you got to do them all in order for it to post properly. You need to go to the page type and go to member search results, because you're basically doing a search result. And then down here in display settings, it's going to normally be inside a tab. And what that does is it basically adds another tab here, but we don't want that. We want it to show without having to click anything. So what you want to do is go above body content, and what that'll do is it'll put right above all the stuff. If it's below or above the listings, it'll go like right here underneath the title. We want that to go above, not in between. So we're going to pick the above body content. That would be above member results, would be that in between one. So above body content, and then it automatically strips out the member the sidebar. So you have to add this back in, otherwise it'll go full width. So if you'll be missing your sidebar if you don't do this. So I'm doing the member search result because it's just a listing search result. Click that, and then I'm going to go into that code view, click it, and I'm going to paste that widget code that I just had just made, and then now when I do that, I'm going to add this in. And I had an issue with another site earlier today that was not rendering this widget code, and it looks like that's going to do that to me again this morning. So this is probably not going to work. I'm just throwing this out there right now, but because they were having a problem on the back end. So the next thing you have to do is copy this food or drink. And put that in there, because we're basically telling the page, hey, for this particular search result, i.e. This one, food or drink, and you can do it for any search result, but it's got to be that pretty URL, not the search result with TID and SID. It's got to be the pretty URL. That's what I want to save, and then just hit save web page. So it's probably not going to work because I'm just not seeing it there either. Oh, it does. Disregard.
Ooh, that's nice.
Worked like a charm.
Except for the
so I thought it wasn't show. Normally it would show potentially the widget code there, like it'll swap it out there just to see it, but it looks like they just changed the way it was working there, so it works fine.
And where do you
change the color? Go ahead.
Where do you change the color?
The color
of the buttons.
Okay, so this is the default settings, like I was saying. So if you guys go into your settings and design settings, in your tab for the color, it's going to be in the bottom right hand side for the color defaults. It'll be for the default button link colors right there, button link colors. And these are all the default ones in your thing. So if you want that color, what color do you want, Frank?
Well, wait a minute. Yeah, I wanted the purple.
You want the buttons to be purple?
Yeah.
Okay. So so he has primary. Primary is the color, right? So primary. So go back to your whatever you guys want. It would be default, success, info. So I did success. So that's the button color that came up. Info, primary, warning, danger, default. And then go back into your toolbox and menu manager, and in that spot where it said button dash whatever, that's where you want to change it. And so you can alternate, you could do alternating colors if you wanted. You wanted the purple, right? So primary.
Yep. So
I'm just going to copy that. So every one of these, and again, if you do that first and then you clone it, it'll already carry that over. So as an example, I'd always add a bunch of or add that first, clone it out, and then I'd add a bunch of them with that clone and use that as a baseline. And it's a lot easier to delete them than to add them later. And then you can clone that tag cloud a bunch of times just because it has a bunch of extra ones in there. And then you can just delete them if the one that you're making doesn't have as many. That's what I would recommend. And then, so you just change that and then save changes. And so now when we go, make sure that saved first. Okay, so now when we refresh this, it'll be the purple buttons with the white text that he wanted.
Oh, loving that.
So one of the other things is it's not centered on there, so that's something else you can do as well with just some modifications of the CSS code.
Yes, there's a word for that. You know what that word is?
Center?
Mandatory.
The centering is mandatory?
Always.
Okay. Sounds good. So I'll show you how to do that. In the widget code, let's go back to the widget toolbox widget manager. We're going to go into that custom tag cloud widget. So we're going to edit that. in the CSS code.
That's where the code was, right?
Was that?
That's where the box code was, right?
Well, that's where we added the just the module and then TechLight. Yeah. So you can add this one to it. The div class. This is what we want. The text center. So it's dot text center. And then you guys can watch the video, or I'll put this in the post as well. This is kind of the longer one. Just text align center. Add that in there, and that's what we're going to reference that text center tag in there. So we're going to save that, and we're going to go back into the menu, and we're basically going to tell that we want that menu to be centered, basically.
I could just pay you to do this, right, Ryan?
That's my goal, really. I make it sound as complicated as it can be, so nobody wants to do it on their own. That was the goal for today. No, I'm just joking. So, sorry.
That worked out perfectly. I got to go make my call now.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ryan.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'll check. I don't think you'll be done before I'm done, so I'll come back.
Okay. We might.
Bye-bye.
All right. So this is where we want to call that text center thing that we just did. So we're basically saying, hey, in this div, we're going to center the text. And by doing that's using that text center CSS code we just put in there to center the text. And I think this will work.
Hey, Ryan, can you just do that on the HTML tab and just do center, and then instead of doing it in the CSS?
Yeah, the center doesn't work for the text, but it doesn't work for the div. So
gotcha. Okay.
You can do that in the around the actual wording. I definitely can. So he's asking I'll show you that in a second. That's what originally I was going to do, but we'll see if this. I'll see if this works first. I
am not a coder, and I didn't even sleep. Didn't even sleep at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Okay, you didn't? Okay, well, and nobody's staying at any hotel there recently. There we go. So now it's centered, and then you can also, that looks a little subdued. So I'm just going to go back in there, and this is actually going to do in the menu manager, change the text there. And what Scott, you were asking, you could wrap that div here, the div class text center around that, and that would work as well. And so this takes HTML in there. So I'm just going to do strong. That's just kind of like the new bold. Put that in there, and we'll save that. And then we'll refresh that, and hopefully that'll be a bold search by subcategory. There we go. So now, not only can you do that, but you can also add in font awesome icon. So let's say we want search by subcategory. Let's say we want a search icon in front of that. I'm just going to add in the I class equals FA-search, the standard font awesome text. I'm going to add a space in front of that. And just by doing that, you can change that to whatever font awesome you want. And I do have an article on directorytoolkit.com in the articles. You can just scroll through the articles, and there's a font awesome one with all the lists and the images if you guys want to look at that. But we're just going to save that, and I'm going to refresh that. And all that does is it just adds a little search icon in front of that. So it looks like, you can click to search. So now just with that little bit, and I mean, it took a little bit of coding, right, and a little bit of finesse, but it's not a plugin. You don't have to get too fancy. The fancy stuff's kind of built into that tag CSS code that they did, so it's a little bit easier for everybody. But now, once you get one down, you can clone this one and just change the links and names, and now you have a new widget, and then just clone the widget. Replace the tag, the menu name in that widget. So once you get it down once, you can just start replicating it. And now Frank's got this inside of his restaurant. So if somebody clicks on food or drinks and gets here from his menu, now they can go, oh, I want to know restaurants. And so from 31 results, it's going to go down to 19, right? Because now I'm just looking at all the restaurants. And so now again, you could. since I don't have that tag cloud on this page because I didn't make a static page, again, it's a little bit of work, but now I can go make a static page of that food and drinks / restaurants and paste in that exact same tag cloud that I just did. And so I'm just going to do that one real quick as a demo again. So I'm going to go show you guys how to do this again. Walk through. I click that. I go to member search results. I go to display settings. I go to above body content. I go to a member search result. And now I'm going to go back to that. And again, you can just already have this copied. So you can get back to it. But I'm going to go to the widget manager here. Grab that food tag cloud, copy shortcode. Going to paste that back into the code. And then I'm going to go grab that food or drink restaurants that we just talked about and add it there. So that's kind of the steps. 1, 2, 3, paste it in and that, and we'll save page for that. And now I have a static page for that one. And then again, if we refresh this one, we should have that tag cloud on that static page. Wonderful. So now one of the things that I recommend doing, which I didn't do in here, you notice I don't really have a back button because all I have is the subcategories. I don't have a button to go back to all food. And so let me just show you how to do that real quick. Again, you can go straight back into that menu manager that you made and just say, oh, I want to add that. It's going to be dynamic when you go do that because you're just editing that. So I'm going to go back and edit this, and I want to add it in front of that. So I'm just going to clone this menu, and I want this to be all food, and so instead of going to the subcategory, I'm just going to make that the main category, and then to offset it, I am going to make this one green because I want it to stand out. It's kind of the header category. Frank may want to change this later when he comes back. I'll show it to him, but. So I want that a different color. Now I'm just going to save those changes. And whatever, this is all dynamic because it's pulling it off the widget. Whatever I just did there, it's gonna change on all the pages. So now I'm in the food or drink category. I now have an all food. It actually looks better because it's full width now. But if I go into restaurants, now I was already in restaurants. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to all food. And now I kind of have a back button. I'm back in all food results. Now I can go into, food product or caterers. I don't know if he has any. So there's one caterer. And again, now I'm on this other side. I'd have to do that again on this page. But again, you only have to do it once. And it's an iterative process for these directories a lot of times. So just add a little bit at a time. But by doing that, you just added a whole bunch of functionality to your website. And it just looks a lot better. And the cool thing about this one is as well, guys, is that you can, because this is above that, it's not in a sidebar, and it'll actually show up on your mobile at the top. So you notice now when you show on mobile, all that sidebar search engine is way at the bottom. They have to scroll through your entire site to get to the search bar. Now your tag cloud is up at the top. And they can just start seeing the search results, or they can click to their those quick tabs. So, any questions on that? I know I probably went too fast. We're gonna have a replay recording for everybody, and you can rewatch that. And I'll have this broken down to a shorter video just with the tag cloud later. So, any questions? I'll take that as a no. So everybody had obligations today. They're all signing off. I couldn't monitor the chat while I was out of the room there. So
I think it might be just you and I left.
Oh yeah, because Frank's a mystery guest. So I'll go ahead and stop it there just for the recording for everybody. So again, thank you for showing up, watching the replay. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like, follow us, and then give us some comments on the Directory Toolkit page if you're watching on that. Again, until next time, thanks, guys.
All right, dude.